Hello everybody and welcome to the Michigan International Speedway for the 16th race for our 2005 NR2003 season for the Batman Begins 400, where Greg Biffle sits on the pole alongside his Roush teammate of Matt Kenseth, with Tony Stewart and Joe Nemechek behind them in row 2 as we are green and underway here at the Michigan International Speedway. Who will win it here at the big race for all the manufacturers in this race? You have Chevy, Ford, and Dodge. Who will bring it home? You'll find out at the front is a couple of Ford of Greg Biffle ahead of the Chevrolet of Tony Stewart, as Biffle clear for the race lead into turn 1 and 2 for the first time today here in Michigan. Tony Stewart, already a two-time Michigan winner, is running in second. Mark Martin there in third, looking like he can make a move. Mark Martin has been looking for that first win of this 2005 season, has still not gotten it yet. 16 races in, trying to change that today with a great run through turn 4. Mark Martin to the inside of Greg Biffle, and side by side for the lead of the Roush Racing teammates, Biffle and Martin. Biffle leads the opening lap with some help from Stewart, and the caution has already come out on lap 1. Sterling Marlin's car is destroyed. That wreck that started way ahead of him. Bill Elliott turns Jeff Gordon into Jeff Green. Green goes around, sends Jeff Gordon spinning, who is not having a great start to this day for where he is on the cut line. Collects Kevin LePage, and Sterling Marlin comes in late, nowhere to go, slams LePage both into the outside wall hard. Caution comes out. Just a mistake there from Bill Elliott. Takes out Jeff Gordon, Sterling Marlin, and Kevin LePage. Marlin and LePage are done for the day, but Gordon will still be in the race, but he's damaged and will be off the pace from that incident. So Jeff Gordon could not afford that incident, as Biffle leads after the opening caution on the first lap of racing. As we are back underway here on lap number 8 here at Michigan. Of course, Mark Martin now takes the lead on the restart. Matt Kenseth into second, Biffle into third, as the field thunders down into 1 and 2 once again on the restart. So yeah, LePage out in 42nd and Sterling Marlin out in 41st, having a rough season for the former Championship 4 contender back in 2002, 4 seasons ago, or 3 seasons ago rather, as Mark Martin, Matt Kenseth, and Greg Biffle. Roush Racing 1, 2, 3 here in Michigan with a great start to this race, looking like the main contenders to fight for this victory today, as Mark Martin leads within the first couple of laps here in Michigan. Now on to lap 29, negotiating lap traffic. They have lapped Jeff Gordon. Brian Vickers, of course, has been on a roll, winning 2 of his last 3 races. As this three-way bout for lead through traffic, Martin, Biffle, and Stewart all close together here. Martin and Stewart on the inside, get by Biffle, who's stuck behind Mike Skinner. As now Mark Martin goes to try to negotiate Stewart. Kirby, but Tony Stewart swings on Mark Martin on the inside first, and Stewart takes the lead away down the front stretch, side by side for the lead. Lap traffic 3 wide up ahead, now 4 wide for the lead into turn 1 at Michigan. Stewart takes a contact, Mark Martin into the wall. Martin gets turned head on to the outside wall by Robbie Gordon. Unbelievable. And the caution comes out. Mark Martin, who is so hopeful he could finally get that first win of the season, gets dumped by Robbie Gordon driving for himself, and Mark Martin is out of this race just like that. It is over for the 6th machine of Mark Martin, and there's Robbie Gordon. Then let me down the bench, but as you flip the camera, like, oh, there's big more trouble. Kurt Busch now. Robbie Gordon has been slammed into Kurt Busch, as Robbie Gordon inexplicably turns left into Kurt Busch when Kurt Busch was coming by to avoid the incident. Robbie Gordon turns directly into him, and just like that, poof, 2 Roush cars who were fast top 10 cars done in a row. Mark Martin and now poor Kurt Busch, who was doing absolutely nothing wrong, just avoiding a wreck, and just got taken out by Robbie Gordon, who has become the killer of Roush Racing today, as Stewart leads. Now Biffle in control of this race on lap number 36 here in Michigan. Stewart in second, Kyle Busch behind them in third, as we go looking into turn 1 and doing a huge crash. Travis Quaffle flying through the air, your Daytona 500 champion, hard into the outside wall with Bobby Labonte. Labonte just clips Quaffle head on hit low. Travis Quaffle goes upside down, 1 complete rotation, lands on his tires and slams the outside wall after being on top of the safer barrier, and a vicious crash takes out the veteran Bobby Labonte trying to fight his way in the playoffs, and your Daytona 500 champion Travis Quaffle. So they got hard wrecks and a wild start to this race here in Michigan, as Tony Stewart just took the lead away from Greg Biffle. And now we're on to a caution coming out here as we end stage 1 under caution. So Elliott South is going to get his 3rd stage win of the season, winning stage 1 here in Michigan. I'll explain that in a minute. Rusty Wallace comes home in 2nd in the stage, followed by Mayfield 2nd, Rusty 3rd, Newman 4th, then Harvick, Jeff Burton, Carl Edwards, Joe Nemechek, Jimmy Johnson, and Michael Waltrip the top 10. Elliott Sadler wins stage 1 under caution because there's a wreck that took out Casey Mears and the 16 of Greg Biffle. Make that 3 Roush cars, make that 4 Roush cars out of the race. Carl Edwards just blew up as we're going green. The engine has just completely blown on Carl Edwards coming to the green flag on this restart just after stage 1 ended. He just got stage points. And now the 99 of Carl Edwards is done out of this race with an engine failure, joining his teammates Greg Biffle, Mark Martin, and Kurt Busch, who have all been crashed. That was worth 3 wide back here. Earnhardt, Waltrip, and Jimmy Johnson battling for position as Rusty Wallace now battles side by side with Elliott Sadler for the race lead. As I try to figure out the right camera view here as I accidentally got stuck on the pace car, but Rusty Wallace is now in the race lead here in Michigan. Rusty Wallace looking for his 2nd win of the season. He got it done at Bristol. Elliott Sadler checks up right there in 2nd. Joe Nemechek in 3rd. He's trying to break a long win the streak going back to 2003 was the last time Nemechek found himself in victory lane. Rusty Wallace continues to lead. Now on to lap 112 with some pit strategy in the middle of a pit cycle. Jeremy Mayfield's now cycled out to the race lead, trying to stay a little bit longer than everyone else to maybe get some track position on the leaders as he was the back end of the lead lap. And now Mayfield will be coming down pit lane this time by. Should cycle the lead back out to Nemechek and Kenseth, who have been the 2 fastest cars. There's Kenseth coming by. So Kenseth currently looking like he will cycle out to be your race leader over Joe Nemechek as you go down the back straightaway. About 15 to go in the stage. Nemechek's there in 2nd. Behind us, we see Harvick merging back onto the racetrack right in front of Michael Waltrip, and he spins Michael Waltrip right into the back of Harvick, who's merging out of pit road, and they go crashing into turn 3. Harvick sliding through the grass. Michael Waltrip spinning down the bottom of the racetrack as Harvick just merges right in front of Michael Waltrip, who had closing at such a high rate of speed he could not make a move to avoid him, and both go crashing. And Kevin Harvick's rough day continues. Michael Waltrip, who's trying to finally get a good run, his first top 10 of the season, gets involved in this incident. We'll see if he can recover from that as Harvick continues to drop back. He's a bubble driver as well, so very important there here that he's affected. But Nemechek takes lead under the yellow, so now it'll be Nemechek and Kenseth side by side for the race lead here with 10 to go in stage 2. Rusty Wallace and Kyle Busch, and they're nearly 4 wide behind them with Burton, the DEI Chevys, and Jimmy Johnson. Big contact up the racetrack goes Jimmy Johnson, Michael Waltrip, Dale Jr. now 5 wide. Mikey's into the wall. Waltrip into the fence. He gets shoved up in there by Earnhardt and Jimmy Johnson. By the way, Jeremy Mayfield, who was supposed to be the leader, had an ignition failure during his pit stop, and now he's out of the race as the chaos continues in a wacky race here in Michigan as Joe Nemechek leads with 10 laps or 9 to go now in stage number 2 after a wild turn of events. Now we're on the last lap of stage 2. Joe Nemechek leading the way over Rusty Wallace and Tony Stewart. Stewart swings to the inside of Rusty Wallace. Stewart is a lap down, by the way. He fell a lap down at the end of stage 1. He's got no stage points all day, trying to get back on the lead lap. Trapped right now. Kyle Busch makes it for 6. So Joe Nemechek here is going to win stage 2 under yellow. I don't quite realize that right away. So now we see a replay here. Nemechek, your stage 2 winner. Kyle Busch 2nd. Rusty Wallace 3rd. Matt Kenseth 4th. Sadler 5th. Burton 6th. Newman 7th. 8th place is going to be Jimmy Johnson. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 9th. And Michael Waltrip gets the last stage point after everything he went through right at the end of that stage. So Nemechek, first stage win of the year here in Michigan. And now we move on here to lap 141. Tony Stewart just got back onto the lead lap because of a yellow. So Stewart now back in the game as Nemechek and Sadler side by side for the race lead here with 55 laps to go here in Michigan. Rusty Wallace and Kyle Busch and Jeff Burton right there in contention. Got a nice 5-car pack, 6-car pack. Michael Waltrip now in the mix as Nemechek continuing to lead the way here at Michigan. He's been very impressive all day long, trying to find his way into victory lane for the first time since the fall of 2003 at Atlanta. Was the last time this man won races. We look through the Packers going to Joe Connick. There's still Jarrett and Jason Leffler into the wall. Around goes Leffler, and the caution will come out. As we hear, Dale Jarrett, Jason Leffler just got into it, and they slid up each other into the outside wall. Up the racetrack, they couldn't avoid the wall, and just Jason Leffler, just bad luck there, gets turned around. It's a mistake, really, by Dale Jarrett that takes out Leffler, who's having a solid top 15 day going. As Nemechek continues to lead now. With about 50 to go, is Rusty Wallace, Ryan Newman leading the race over Kyle Busch. The 5 of Kyle Busch, who's been a top 5 contender all day long, just came down pit road right before the drop of the green flag. That's going to cost Kyle Busch the race, possibly, pretty much being in contention. Tim Pinning there throws away any shot of his contender. So now Ryan Newman trying to go back-to-back seasons winning here at Michigan. He won this race last season, trying to do it again on the outside of his teammate Rusty Wallace, who's been strong all day. But there is Joe Nemechek in the 0-1 right to the inside. Nemechek has a rocket of a race car here today, and he is trying to find himself finally back into victory lane. Can he get by Rusty Wallace in the 3 and 4? How about Tony Stewart from a lap down, as far down as 27th in the running order, up now into 4th, make that 3rd place back in the game with 49 to go. Rusty Wallace leads, but Nemechek's got a big run down the front stretch. Nemechek swings to the bottom, and the battle for the lead continues now between Rusty Wallace and Joe Nemechek into turn 1 here at Michigan. It is an intense battle. Nemechek trying to find his way in the playoffs and break a long winless streak, and Rusty Wallace trying to get his 2nd win of the year. Now Nemechek leads. Now here comes Tony Stewart to the inside out of turn 4, and Stewart trying to complete an incredible mid-race comeback after being a lap down, as far down in the running order as 27th in the middle of stage 2. In the final stage of 48 to go, just took the lead, and now here we are, 2 to go, coming to the white flag final lap presented by Credit One Bank at Michigan for Tony Stewart. Has pulled off an incredible comeback and is in position to win for the 2nd time this season and the 3rd time of his career here at Michigan. It would be his 3rd Michigan win, and it would be his 23rd career win. Jimmy Johnson, by the way, just got put a lap down in 6th place, which is shocking. Johnson, of course, your points leader. Stewart in 2nd. Now Jimmy Johnson swings to the bottom as they go into 3 and 4. Just makes enough room underneath Tony Stewart. Jimmy Johnson wants to finish this race on the lead lap, and he will as they come out of turn 4. But what a comeback for Tony Stewart, who comes back from a lap down to win at Michigan. Tony Stewart does it. Gets a huge win, his 23rd career win and his 3rd at Michigan. See, there's Kyle Busch, Dale Jr. were laps down in 7th and 8th. Joe Nemechek comes home 13 seconds back in 2nd. Rusty Wallace comes through in 3rd place. Here comes Michael Waltrip to finish in 4th. Matt Kenseth a lap down in 9th. Ryan Newman comes home in 5th. Jamie McMurray a lap down in 10th, and of course Jimmy Johnson comes home 6th, the last car on the lead lap. So Tony Stewart comes back from a lap down in stage 2 to win here at Michigan, his 2nd of this 2005 season and the 23rd of his career, being tied now for 26th all time with Bobby Labonte. So what a performance by Tony Stewart, what a comeback. Now you see the updated and final race results on the left side of your screen. You see only 6 cars finishing on the lead lap. A lot of cars lapped down and a lot of cars out of this race from incidents, including 4 of the 5 Roush Racing cars. And what could have been a huge day for them ends up being absolutely disastrous. Updated playoff grid momentarily. Now you see the updated playoff grid. Of course, Tony Stewart becomes our 4th multi-time winner this season, joining Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch, and Brian Vickers, who all have at least 2 wins on the season. The guys with 1 win remain the same, so we stay at 5 drivers in on points with 10 races to go until the playoffs begin. With Jeremy Mayfield comfortably in by 46, Casey Kane, Jeff Burton got a small cushion, and then a minimal cushion for Mark Martin, 1 point above the cut line, as Kevin Harvick is tied with Jamie McMurray for the final spot in the playoffs. Mike Bliss, Dave Blaney, Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte looking in from below that cut line. Pretty much going to need some good points these next couple of weeks to get back in position. But Tony Stewart gets the win here in Michigan. Now, before we end the episode, I would, as always, want to thank my channel members. So I want to shout out to Jeremy Isley. I appreciate you being a channel member, Jeremy. Keep up the support. And if any of you want to become a member as well, the link is down in the description down below, or you could hit the join button. So until the next episode, I hope you all have a good one.